Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a celebrity psychic reading on Anastasia Beverly, who is the creative owner of Anastasia Beverly Hills. She's one of the CEOs, and so I'm going to go ahead and um, you know, see what I see for the remaining of 2018, 2019, and going on after that. For those of you who don't know who she is, again, she is owner of a big cosmetic company. It is an empire. She is someone who is very, very intriguing. When I get into her soul, I feel like she is someone who's always had a creative side and a creative vision. From a little girl, she would have had, a fascination for beauty, makeup, and anything in that area, always being inspired by art, and just overall, inspired by things that are beautiful in the world. So she comes across as someone who's very strong-minded, very strong-willed, a free spirit, almost like a gypsy, even though she is from Romania. They originally came from there, but not because she's from that, that I'm calling her a gypsy, and I mean that in the most respectful way. But she's just a very free soul. But she also has this intriguing psychic abilities, and I feel like this is something she doesn't really discuss with anyone. But I feel like she actually can. She is like a clairvoyant. She can see certain things or know certain things as well. Using her own abilities, and I feel like all the women in her family line actually had some abilities that were psychic in nature. And so she's used a lot of these abilities to kind of navigate through, her career and actually make good, positive decisions that, are well executed. And so every step that she takes, she tends to, really think everything out and also be led by her own soul, by her own spirit, and her own higher power. And so she tunes into that, and that's why she's had such a success with her company. What I see for her going into 2019 is a lot of creative um, visions being changed, a lot of basically going through a transformation for her brand. This could be the packaging of her palettes, of all her makeup cosmetics. Basically, I see like that there is going to be a new, creative vision, and basically going through like a rebirth or transformation of her products. And so the way that it's marketed, the way it's presented online, a lot of that is going to be changing, but for the positive, and it's going to just continue to grow and attract new audience, a new audience, a new set of demographics for the company. I actually feel like she is also going to be expanding her cosmetic line. So whatever store, cosmetic stores that are worldwide that don't carry the Anastasia Beverly Hills product, they will. And this is something I see a lot of business deals and arrangements. So over the next 2 years, and a little after that, she will be doing a lot of traveling to Europe and other countries, I feel, and see that she is going to be basically expanding in all levels. And it's a prosperous time for her. It is a good, area of her life. I just get that she's not someone that is ungrateful for her blessings. She does, come across as someone from her soul. I can see that she's very grateful for every single thing that she's worked very hard for. I do feel like, she is now at a point in her life where she is going to have to release a little bit of the creative control. And that's why she has her daughter there, working with her. And I feel like the daughter is going to step in and take a little bit more of the overload that Anastasia used to have on her hands, so that Anastasia can focus more on her personal life, her love life, and just enjoying life in general. She's someone who really understands that, our time here on earth is very limited, and so she wants to make the best of it and just really just, travel and experience life, because I feel like many ways, being that she's been an entrepreneur and she's been someone who's built up an empire, even though she has traveled to a certain extent, for purposes, business purposes, I don't feel like she's really experienced life the way that she would have liked to in many ways. Now, I'm not saying that she comes off as someone who has regrets, but she is someone who really just wants to go out there and, just not have to worry about the company and just breathe. I feel like she has all this pressure for so many years on her shoulders, weighing in, and that she, in a certain way, she hasn't had the peace or, the ability to just enjoy life the way that she would. She is also someone who is very admired among the females that are also in cosmetics or skincare community there in Hollywood and in the world. She's very well respected. I feel like she has a great team behind her and behind the company. She's, again, going back to her intuition and her daughter as well. They're very intuitives, intuitive. They would be people who would, be monitoring the company very closely, the associations, and they know more or less if somebody is going to not work out with the company. So I feel like, in some ways, she's kind of, struggled with letting certain people go in the past. But ultimately, if those relationships have gone or they've been, severed, it's been for a greater good and a higher good for the company and her creative decision. So I feel like there are some sour employees who have left working with Anastasia, not by their free will, but maybe because the company had to let them go for whatever reason. But I feel like she had good reason to let these individuals go when she had to. And again, when you're in that kind of position, you're always going to have enemies. You're going to have people who, don't like or don't support you. And unless, you're the owner yourself, sometimes the employees are not going to see or treat, your product and your brand the way that you would give, 110%. And it's something that's just so disheartening because she is a lovely individual, but also often misunderstood by a lot of her employees. I think some people that she would surround herself with kind of take her for granted, her kindness for granted. And she is someone who is very generous. So this is something, where Spirit is basically saying that she has learned to toughen up a little bit more and make these executive decisions that sometimes are painful and not easy to make. But she's actually come across and done them very well. So, what I see for her when it comes into her love life in that area, she was married for many years. I feel like her actual marriage didn't work out for several reasons. The guy that she was with, I feel, was very controlling. Also, was not 50-50, not supportive of her and, her creative vision. I also feel like there was a level of intimidation by him, because she's, you know, decided to reclaim her power and to basically, launch her cosmetics and everything. And so, being that someone that's, has a creative vision, she wasn't going to back down or, put her dreams on hold to make somebody else happy. And I feel like, she grew up in a time where customs were a little bit different and there were more closed-minded and a more 3D mentality. So she broke away from that. And now she's in a more of a phase of exploring her life and basically, what is next for her. I actually do see two males. One would be, they're about her age, but one comes across as European and very refined and has his own money and whatnot and his own company. And then the other one is someone who is here American, and I feel like he's also in the entertainment industry. Maybe not in the cosmetics, but he owns, he has assets as well and very well off. And I feel like she's going to be, if they're not already in her life, that is not too far away, but she will be basically, she won't, I don't see her remarrying or marrying again, but I do get that she will have a partner and she basically will, be enjoying life, traveling a lot more. But now her traveling is going to be a lot more lighter and more about her and just relaxing and enjoying life. And that's what's coming across right now. She is going through some kind of, in the company itself, this may not be something that she is fully aware of, but I do feel like there is some kind of roadblocks that are being created. These are more temporary, and this would be more around the staff itself. There could be some drama unfolding with a lot of the staff members that work closely with her. And they try to keep it more issues amongst themselves, but again, there could be some creative jealousy that's going on or some favoritism from some of the people that are in her brand, and this is something that's going to be coming to light, and I feel like there's going to be decisions being made for that. And I also see that within the next 2 years there is going to be some kind of scandal surrounding the brand. This could be, a certain lip kit that comes out defected or a certain batch, which is, are things that are going to happen. We're all human. Factories make errors. And this is something that will be called out into the social media spotlight by YouTubers, beauty bloggers, and I feel like it's just going to be like a recall of products, and basically that's all it boils down to. And she gets, everything's taken care of. It's a snafu. It happens, but people take things out of proportion completely, but she will be okay. Um, and I just see, that her brand is going to continue to grow. There is also, Spirit is talking about a legal issue that is going to be surrounding the company. But I feel like this is more Anastasia Beverly Hills suing someone or taking them to court for something. And I actually feel like they come across with a payout. You know, um, this wouldn't be, money that is going to hurt her in any way, or improve her lifestyle in any kind of way, but it's something more, it's more on the justice side. This again comes across more as like someone taking her creative idea and maybe labeling it as their own, like copyright, something like that. But ultimately it comes out okay. In the mail that I do get, this is a mail behind all of this, and basically he's someone who is going to be going after her through networks of people that they know, mutual people, mutual friends, and kind of like bad mouthing the brand. But it's not going to work because a lot of people know who Anastasia is and what she represents and the quality of her products and what she represents. So something very good there. Let me get into the next slide here. The next slide is Norvina. Claudia, this is her beautiful daughter, and also now in a position where she is taking over a lot, and she recently came out with her new palette, Norvina. So congratulations, Norvina, on your new palette. When I tune into Norvina's soul, she is a Scorpio. For those of you that don't know, she is very intuitive. Like I said, she gets it from her mom. I actually feel like she has a lot more different personality, more fiery. So she's not someone who is afraid to not speak her mind. Let me repeat that. She's not afraid to speak her mind. She comes across as someone who will let you know exactly what she's thinking, and she will ultimately have her way when she wants something done her way. I feel like she is actually a visionary just like her mom, but she is more bold and more outspoken. So she's willing to experiment a lot more with the brand and with this palette that she has coming out. This is not gonna be the only palette that she has coming out. She has other things. I feel like the direction ultimately is that she wants to create her own line of products with her name, and ultimately have her own empire as well, with the mom. So that's what I keep seeing for her. When it gets into her love life, it's very interesting. I feel like she has a lot of suitors as well, potentially. But I don't feel like she will settle down. She may be dating someone, and she actually may get engaged within the next 2 years. But I feel like for the most part, she has seen what her mom's gone through, and she has a protective side to herself as well, where she just, doesn't really trust a lot of people. She knows that a lot of these men that, may show interest in her maybe more after her money and her assets rather than getting to know her as a person. So she has her guard up as well. So she comes across as someone who is just very, she can read through people. Her eyes are very piercing. They pierce through your soul. So she knows if you're, what you're all about, and she'll trust her intuition. But I also feel that there's a level of insecurity as well that she does come into, surrounding friendships. I feel like she's had a lot of friendships that have come and gone, and she sometimes at some point she feels like maybe she has been responsible for a lot of these. And one of these relationships that recently ended, I get, would have been very hurtful to her, because it's like a best friend kind of situation. But ultimately, it just boils down to jealousy about her, and everything that she would represent, is, it's something she's better off without fake friends. And again, these are just life lessons that we learn as we grow, as we go on. I also feel like, a lot of people try to use their friendship with Norvina, and, to get ahead. And it's something that she doesn't mind helping people who are authentic and are, you know, very loyal to her and her mom and the company. She doesn't mind helping people, but when people start trying to be underhanded and maybe befriend her just to get ahead, that's where the problems would start and where, you know, friendships would end with her. But I ultimately feel like she actually will marry eventually. But right now, she's more like, you know, she's about 30 years old or so. She is more, you know, just experiencing life and really doesn't want to rush into anything. She does think about children as well. So I feel like she does think about having at least 2 children in her lifetime. But again, this is something where she's just kind of skeptical, you know, at a certain point, whether or not she sees herself as settling down and really getting forward, you know, with her starting her own family. But I actually feel she will, you know, over the next 2 years, we will hear more about that with her. So this is what I see for Anastasia Beverly Hills, for her mom and Norvina. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you did like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you would like to set up a private reading with me, you can go to my website. That's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing day.